morning. I have no idea which day of the walk this is. What I do know is that I am within 60 kilometres or a bit over 3 days walking of Santiago. All is well with the feet, with the legs in the morning but not in the afternoon, but they've been very kind to me. I've now walked 240 kilometres, bless them. The vibe has completely changed this morning for me, and that's for two reasons. I've had a really good night's sleep uninterrupted because partly because there was nobody snoring or coughing and spluttering above me like the night before. Get that out there, Phil. But also I discovered what I already had, which in my medical pack, yes, I have a medical pack, I had packed and never used until last night. Earplugs and a mask. Worked a treat. Who knew? So I was the first to arrive at the newly opened municipal albergue at about after, very rainy day. Everybody was like drowned rats. Anyway, I arrived at about 1 o'clock because I'd started early at 6:30, and this 100-bed new municipal hostel, there's nobody in it except me. I was the first one, I think, of the season, and so I had the pick of the bed as well. But I'm the last to leave this morning, and I've had a full, I would say, 10 till 6:30, eight and a half hours sleep, which of course helps. But after a particularly pleasant evening meal of caldo, which is the local Galician veggie soup, everything's in it, and then garbanzas, chickpeas with everything in it, and a glass of red. So honestly, that set me up for the night, and a good sleep has hopefully set me up for the morning. Except I have to confess, I've made a little bit of an error with my... let me say first, the other reason the vibe is completely different this morning is because instead of always looking over my shoulder at the young dudes who are then cruising past, overtaking, and in my mind taking all the beds at the municipal albergue. And so it was a bit like the Hunger Games. It was like race to a bed, and it affected me. I'm ashamed to say it made me very judgmental and very critical of all the younger people racing ahead. It wasn't like that in the first week, you know. And so instead, last night I booked my next 3 nights accommodation. Now this is a very sensible thing to do. I've rescheduled my walks over the next 3 days to make that possible. The only unfortunate thing is, you won't believe this, but I actually booked a bed at 3 different hostels or albergues, all on the same night. I must be going delirious. And what's worse, that same night was last night, so I had actually booked. I don't think I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to edit this. I'm not confessing to this. In my caldo soup stupor, I just clicked book. So as well as the hostel here in Palas de Rey, 3 other places were expecting me last night. I did cancel them. Fortunately, with 2 of them anyway, I did get my money back. So I have booked for tonight, and so I don't have to do the mad race for a bed, so long as the bookings worked, which I'm sure it will. And now I'm just looking at the trials of a modern pilgrim and technology. And a not so modern Phil, apparently. And so now I'm going back to that lovely little Casa bar to see if they're doing coffee. See you in a mo. Now here is a close-up of these artifacts. They've got wooden doors. Oh, thank you. Wooden doors on one side, and it's bricked on the other, but air bricks. So it's as, dare I say, to keep it ventilated. If there's a body inside, or has been in the past, it's on stilts to keep bodies safe from, I don't know, predators or evil spirits. And it does have a cross on there. I'm not sure what that is. A roof. I think it is a sort of family grave thing. And here we are, under 66 kilometers to go. And as I said earlier, I have booked 3 decent night single rooms to get myself to Santiago. I'll be able to relax and go at my own pace during the day because I've booked a room, a single room. And I've had a leisurely start, which has gone in my favour. The swarms of the younger people headed off earlier, which is fine, leaving carnage in the cafes where the pilgrims have their breakfast. And so I was a little later than them. And so when they left, it was absolutely siling down with Galician rain. And hordes, I mean, talking hundreds of pilgrims, like a shoal of fish in the rain, getting absolutely soaked at the start of the day. Bonkers, to my mind anyway. So I helped the waitress clear the tables of the carnage, and she very kindly gave me a free cafe con leche, and I just sat it out for half an hour. To be honest, messaging my beloved and my best mate Andrew, and catching up on the England performance against I've forgotten who it was against last night. Belgium. Stirring my coffee until the rain, it's actually stopped now. The other benefit being I'm walking solo, and I can't tell you the difference it makes. It says something about me, I know. And in a way, this is what the Camino does. It's self-reflective. Bless the young ones, they've helped me to see how critical I am of different ways of going about a walk, because it's just all chatter and hustle. That's look at that. That's a lovely couple of statues. I'm going to take a picture of that. It's sort of together and yet not embraced. I love that. So thank you, my dear friends. Oh, I could live there. Thank you, dear friends, young ones, but I just couldn't be in this such frenetic closed loop that you seem to be in all the time. Very lots of chatter, but it seems very isolated. Really don't want to judge because I don't understand the behaviour, and also I think it's city help desking behaviour, which I don't know about that culture. But the breath of freedom to be walking alone and able to spend time just looking at things like these statues, and I'm loath to judge, but it's just a rat race or a rollerball derby with the young ones racing to the next stop. Anyway, enough of that. It's a lovely dry. No, it's not dry. It stopped raining. I'm off. It must be the slowest peregrino on the Camino, and I don't mind because I like to look around and make notice of different things, and so it very much is. Life is about the journey, not the destination, in a very real sense for me. This 15 or 17 days on the Camino, absolutely loved it. Most of it, mostly all of it. And I'm not doing that though. I'm actually taking 4 days, which I'm taking it easy today. By easy, I mean 15 kilometers instead of 22. Similarly the day after. And so I will actually be walking a 4th day on Easter Saturday into Santiago. That's the plan. Again, feet willing. And so I shall have a night on Saturday night in Santiago, and then Sunday, hopefully, if they can fit everybody in the cathedral. So, I can now reveal, after talking to a lovely couple behind me, what this structure is on almost every farmstead. This one's got 2. They must be very rich. It's not a family urn or resting place for the departed. It's a resting place for cereal on plinth, so it can't be foraged or ravaged or eaten by predators like rats. Keeps it dry, and that's their essential winter cereal storage for bread. There we go. It's all revealed on the Camino, with a little bit of patience and a little bit of questioning of nice people on the way. I have been musing a lot on the difference between last week and this week. This week is Semana Santa week for a lot of Spanish people, and it's mostly young professional city people. I think that's fair. I'm not making any judgment there, and that's a lovely thing to do. Instead of working at your city desk or your help desk or whatever, you've chosen to come for a week-long walk in nature for your own reason. Is absolutely fine. No judgment at all. It's just a good thing to do. Capital G, capital T. So I applaud it, and they're very welcome, and I'm the guest. They live here, it's their country. I'm just a visitor for my own selfish purposes. But the shoals of bright young things in their design and gear have gone on miles ahead of me now. I've had a very leisurely start to this morning with 2 coffees, and I have the Camino almost to myself, and I've booked a room in advance, and I can't tell you what a relief it is to just enjoy walking solo without being overtaken every other step, and to be able to look around and stop and ask what is myself or others, what is this? This is what makes the Camino for me. It is interaction with what's going on inside, sure, but what's going on around me. And an analogy I would like to suggest for the bright young things in their leggings, multicoloured leggings and capes, is they're like fireflies in a bell jar, all buzzing about but bumping into things, because the only thing they know really, there's something we didn't know already. Bumping into each other like dumb but bright fireflies, and it struck me that it's a condition of which I have too, and maybe more so when I was younger. So, people in glass houses and all that. It's a self-absorption, a self-containment, a sort of boundary, and an invisible bubble around. And there's lots of socialising and chat, but it's not out of a sort of shared interest. This bubble is not, it seems to be, is not porous. It is watertight. It's a sort of self-preservation bubble, and the fireflies are bumping about, making nice patterns in the bell jar. But you'll be familiar that I am the starter, the originator of the Be Kind party, and to be nice to people, or simply to be kind to people, it seems to me it requires you to be porous or transparent, or bubble free even, let's say. So your sort of field of interest, if you like, is the fascination of the other people around you. And you can only, am I sounding like a preacher now? My soapbox. You can only be kind to people if you notice them. You can only be kind to people if you are attentive to their situation. Perhaps I helped a young guy with his cape just behind us. He was walking solo and his arms were flailing behind him trying to get his cape on over his backpack. Well, if you've tried that can be impossible. We know what it's like in the rain, and I just paused and stopped and eased it over his backpack, and job done. And a very small but practical act of kindness, because I was him walking in the rain, And it's this sense, and it's coming on to rain again, so I'll have to stop, but it's this a porosity that you are not a separate little me in your bubble. We are all in this together, and to be kind, you need to be naturally looking out for what's going on in other people's lives, and there's something lovely going on in somebody's garden here. Look what they've done, and the vegetables and the leeks and the onions I can see, they're coming up already. Well done them. Now this is interesting. There are two cereal stores side by side, and in fact there's a third one in the back garden, but they're very prominent, like show off. It's like parking your SUV and you drive, you know, your Discovery and your whatever, and you're showing off how wealthy you are, I think, because you can afford to store lots of grain. Notice they're locked, and this starts to make sense. It's a status symbol as well, and very prominent. So either that, or you've got a very big family or dependents, and they all come around for Sunday lunch, perhaps more often than you'd like. I like this village a lot, and I can't tell you why. I have just seen a place for sale and taken some photos, and there's something very attractive about it. There's an albergue here. I bet it's lovely inside. It is, of course it is. Of course it is. I'm not going to stop. This is absolutely perfectly the best I've seen. And there's plenty of space outside. This will be rammed in the summer. Oh, what's the name of this little hamlet? Let's find out, shall we? Honestly, there is lots to like about this little village. I'm very taken with it. Goodness me. I am a one on Taifa. Ooh, I'd like a place where I could live there. It's coming on to rain. I need to go in this church and zip up. Gracias. The simplest and most delightful church I think I've ever been in this country, or in my country, or in India, even anywhere. Honestly, it resonates with something deep within this place, and a bit like falling in love for the first time. You can't quite explain it, and there's no need to explain it. It just is. But there are places for sale, but clearly it's a shrinking village community. Very unusual with these cereal stores up front. I bet on a a bright, calm, sunny day. It's gorgeous. Off we go again. The rain's not too bad. I'm enjoying it. And unbelievably, just on the edge of the village is the essential coffee home. I mean, it could be here, especially for me. Oh dear, what am I like? And surprise, surprise, there is a therapist, an integral therapist, shiatsu, kinesiology, massage, Francisca Cola, and he is at work making gifts in front of a log fire. Oh my goodness me, what a place. As you can probably hear, it is pissing it down at the moment, which is the only sensible word you could use, forgive the language, but it is. It's the heaviest rain of the day so far. I've just finished a very lovely lunch of tortilla and orange juice. And it's very grey and wet out, but you can't hear it, but the bar has just started playing Mr. Blue Sky by ELO. It's just one of those magic moments on the Camino. In a way, people are more friendly, more together in adverse conditions than when it's fine. There's a sort of a camaraderie when everybody's soaking wet. I'm biding my time here in this makeshift tent next to the bar. I'm biding my time, I'm in no particular rush. It's midday and I've got an hour and a half walking, and I'm going to wait a little till the rain eases, as it has done for me very kindly this morning so far so good. Now I've got to stop and pause and point this out on a very murky and rainy, wet Wednesday afternoon. What on earth is this building? What on earth do they make or do? It's called Galactium, and it's, oops, sorry, I'm zoomed in. I don't know if you can read the tagline. It's rediscovering the Milky Way. Well, what on earth do they make in there? The logo to the left, I like the lettering by the way, very techno. But the logo to the left suggests to me a happy cow's face in abstract, but that's just me. Please, answers on a postcard. We're in Galicia. What does Galactium make or do? Rediscovering the Milky Way. Is it a space research project, or do they make a different type of milk? Oops, sorry, my camera works rubbish there. I'm doing my best. Now in England, if we want to do some road maintenance, it's obligatory to put up traffic lights in exactly the wrong place to keep the traffic flowing, or to stop it with traffic lights above them. But here, the Caballero is doing muy bien. He's doing a fantastic job. He's just parked up and he's filling potholes. No traffic lights, no man at work sign, and that's the way to get the roads mended quickly. Excuse the bumping about, but at this time in the day my legs have gone stiff and my knees have fixated, if that's the right word. But this is a rather splendid entry for the peregrinos into this town, which is called Melina, I believe. And I cross the bridge, I cross the river, and on the other side is my hostel for tonight. and it has been a short day today, but a very wet one. I chose to do really a half day walking, more than half, but look at that lovely rooftops. About 15 kilometers today, but it has been very wet, and I have been very lucky doing most of my walking between heavy showers, which I'm grateful for. There's another cereal store on legs. We know what they are now, and so I've got that sort of demob feeling, or that relief that every walker who's walked any distance feels when they are within sight nearly of their destination. And I feel that way now, although even though it's only 1 o'clock or 1:30. Nice simple church architecture here. I'm ready for a hot bath or a hot shower, and that's enough for today, and that's exactly how I hoped it would be. I might even have a super burger. Don't judge me.